it up. It's The Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Hall.
Sharecropper's house, but darling words fall from Salome's mouth. Moonshine and moonlight made me down my eyes, but nothing matters much when I hear sighs, while the rustle of a blue dress fills the air. In the human night, I forget my prayers. Her heart skips as I untangle her hair. Her lips are moist as morning dew. I am a sinner, but I do not despair. She's free will in China blue. Halfway to heaven, yet a two-step from hell. Heartache and hunger drove me to her well. Well, hallelujah, still hanging in the air. It's free will, she's free will in China blue. It's free will, she's free will in China blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome rock recording artist Sun King Rising to the program. How you doing, John?
Yeah, good.
Where are you calling from?
Port Isabel, Texas. Far south as you can get in Texas.
Oh, wow. Is that where you're from?
No, but I got down here pretty quickly. So I'm from Pittsburgh, actually.
Oh, really? Wow. I have a few friends over there in the Pittsburgh area. Michael Stover, I'm sure you know who he is.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
And,
yeah. My band is all from Pittsburgh, so.
Oh, okay. Do you know Brian Cole, too?
I don't think I do know him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's good friends with Stover. He's a great singer. He's also a good producer as well. But
Cool.
He's from that area.
There's a lot of talent in that area.
There sure is. I've met so many great artists just from working with Michael Stover over the last couple of years that are from, the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, Michael's a great guy. He works really hard for his artists.
He's definitely one of the best in the business.
Lucky to work with him.
So what's the weather like there today?
Beautiful. It's probably about 73, 74.
Wow.
Sunny, little bit of a breeze,
It's a little
because I'm literally right on the water. So
very cool.
just looking over the bay.
So it's warmer by you than it is by me. I'm in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah, it might very well be today. You can never tell. We just had a few days ago, we had one of those northers blow in, and it had dropped the temperature down. But, for us at this time of year, 60s cold. So.
Wow. And how many years have you been there?
I've been in Texas since 1984.
Wow,
so,
that's a long time.
Yeah.
Very cool. How's the music scene there?
It's pretty diverse. We're far down here. We got a lot of, Tejano and cool stuff like that. A lot of blues, a lot of Tejano, a lot of country, of course,
Yeah.
I like too. So, it's a pretty good mix down here on the border.
That's nice, man. So tell me a little bit about your musical background. When did you start getting involved in music?
Oh, I was very young. I was like 5 years old when I took my first piano lesson. And
wow.
that was back in Pennsylvania, and the wonderful older woman who taught me was basically her method was to teach me by playing hymns. So I learned to play piano playing hymns, and it had kind of had a big effect on me for learning some of that gospel style. Although she did not play gospel style, but I kind of picked that up myself, and she'd kind of get a little bit annoyed at me, but she'd always be singing in my ear as we played these hymns. So it was, I did that for quite a while, and then I couldn't handle the lessons anymore, and then I decided, as all young kids ultimately kind of come around, they wanted to be more attuned with the cool music. So
right.
Then I started playing rock and roll, got into my first band. I think I did my first professional gig, professional meaning getting paid, was in a bar in Elwood City. And I think I was just between, must have been about 14 years old or so. And they kind of had to play that down because it was not legal for me to be singing in that bar, but great time. Actually, that bar was related to, you remember the great 80s artist Donnie Iris?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was his family who owned that bar.
Very cool. That's a pretty cool story. Yeah, he had a couple of good hits, right? Ali was good. Yeah, that was a great one.
And he was in the Jaggers before that. He is a Pittsburgh legend.
Definitely. What was the name of your band?
So, went through a lot of them. In the end, we were kind of a prog glam band. That's the band that did the best, and that name was Harlequin. And we played all through. We booked out of Pittsburgh, so we played that area, that part of Pennsylvania, into West Virginia, and over into the Ohio area, Youngstown and surround. So it's kind of that band did okay, and that was the one I had to decide. I was going to college at the time, and I had to decide what I was going to do, and I chose the easy path of going into science. So then I went and got my PhD up in Cleveland, and I gave up music for a while.
Okay.
Wasn't until I got back into Texas, really for my first job as a scientist, and that was in San Antonio. And San Antonio is a fabulous, fabulous music town. It's got a lot going for it. It's a great town in general. And I decided something was missing. I started playing music again on my own, trying to get my keyboard skills back, and writing some songs. Recording equipment was starting to get easy to purchase decent stuff for the home back then, and I started writing songs again, but then I missed, playing with other people. So I started playing in blues bands, and I did that for quite a while. Just playing blues standards, just, not much formality to it, kind of pickup stuff. But then I started slipping into all the cool things that I like to do. I started doing a bunch of Joe Cocker songs and Ray Charles and Stones melodies that were kind of as if Leon Russell had written them, things like that. So I started messing with the format, and I really enjoyed that.
That's very cool.
And then I moved down to Port Isabel to help the new medical school start up, and been down here now for, I think, 8 years.
Wow, very cool. I believe every band or artist is influenced by someone. Who were some of your musical influences?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned definitely Ray Charles, Leon Russell, for just great piano players and great songwriters also. Joe Cocker I always loved. I think that when he was with Leon with Mad Dogs and Englishmen, that's really the kind of sound I've been going for in Sun King Rising, and especially on the new album where we have a lot of horns and things like that. But Van Morrison, another great one that I love, songwriter, singer, soulful. Bobby Blue Bland has always been one of my favorite singers,
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And then then I had this other weird prog side that doesn't, fit the bill, and we were very influenced by bands like Genesis with Peter Gabriel and King Crimson and Yes and bands like that. So I've got this kind of this Jekyll and Hyde thing going in music, where it's either, or really organic or kind of, complex. Sometimes they kind of cross paths.
So that's how you would describe your music, right?
Who knows how you describe things? I'm definitely, the Sun King Rising stuff fits very well into early to mid 70s vibe, and that's what I wanted it to sound like. Those are the records that that I remember as having huge influence on me. And early Elton John, that's another one. Boy, fantastic stuff. So I think all of those influence me. And then every so often I'll slip something a little bit more harmonically complex in that comes from my prog roots. And I like to do the orchestrations on some of the ballads, so I like to do that sort of thing too.
Very cool. You released your first solo CD in October of 2020, titled Delta Tales. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So that was the one. There's an interesting story behind that too. I have a friend, mainly from the prog world, named Nick Katona, who runs Melodic Revolution Records, and I don't know, they put out like 100 albums or something. They have a pretty good stable, and so I was getting him to listen to some of my prog music, and then just by chance he was looking around and he found this other web page that I had for my more, kind of southern soul, southern rock stuff, and he loved it, and he loved it so much that he said, "I'll spin off a new imprint off Melodic Revolution." So he started Peacock Sunrise in order to put out Delta Tales, and since then he's signed a bunch of artists onto Peacock Sunrise. But I mean, it was really Nick believing in these songs, and not all of those end up on Delta Tales. I had a bunch in hand, pretty good demos, but then I wanted to write some new songs for Delta Tales that were kind of more into my current, what I was thinking at the time, and then we re-recorded everything, and we re-recorded it all, old school in a real recording studios with real players. Even though it was during the pandemic, we tried as much as possible to get people in the same room, at least the rhythm, the critical parts of the rhythm section. And it was done all as I would say, organically. You won't find any kind of drum machines or any auto tune or anything like that on the album. It's a return to the roots in terms of how records are made.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you get more, I can sit and I can write a pretty good bass line, but it's not the same vibe that happens when a drummer and a bass player together trying to play something underneath my piano lines. So some extra magic happens, and boy, there's some great drumming on that album, and there's some great bass playing also. So it's really worth it. And there's great horns, there's great guitars. Just I was fortunate to work with fabulous musicians, and that really all came about from my producer, because I decided that I absolutely needed a solid producer to kind of make my vision come true, and I hooked up with Ace Acker.
Mm-hmm.
And Ace he was in the 70s band called Law that almost made it. I mean, I remember seeing them lots of times, and they were discovered by, of all people, Roger Daltrey of the Who put them on tour with the Who. So they were there. They had the taste of the rock's iconic era. And Ace is he's a very knowledgeable about music. He has wonderful taste. He knows a lot of musicians, and he was the guy to make it all come true. And he's produced the second album, the new album also.
Very cool.
And I even do one of Ace's songs on Delta Tales, a song called "Take It Down," that was originally recorded in his band Law, with the great Roy Kenner as the vocalist, who was also in bands like Bush and the James Gang, and he was a very well-known Canadian singer. Very
cool.
Yeah, no. So Ace brought he had a lot of authenticity going. Ace, he had a great vision, and we saw eye to eye. 95% of the time we see eye to eye.
That's awesome, though. I mean, me and my wife, we listened to the CD, I think it was about a week or two ago, and we were like blown away by it, especially, I mean, all the horns and stuff, and your voice is phenomenal, and we were like, yeah, this guy has definitely got to be influenced by like Joe Cocker, because you have that kind of tone. I'm not saying you sound exactly like him, but
no.
But you definitely
phrasing and things, yeah.
Yeah. This podcast is going to feature two of your songs, Free Will and China Blue, and Milkweed and Thistle. What's the story behind those two songs?
All right. So those were both songs that I wrote specifically for Delta Tales. And Free Will's kind of an interesting one because it's the current single. And I actually wrote that after we'd finished the album, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like for manufacturing. And so the record company wanted to put it out as a digital extra. But then it became so popular that we've had to re-release the album with the CD, and we put it on the CD. So there's a new issue of the album out. It came out a couple of months ago now, with Free Will and China Blue in the second spot. And originally it's not on the album. So it's single. It's being pushed all over the country right now. It did pretty well in the UK and Italy, and now it's being pushed around a lot of Americana stations and whatnot. So Free Will is really, I think, is one of the strongest songs for the album. I call it a Southern soul stomper. He's got a very powerful horn section and a great, gospel-esque backing vocals, great rhythm section. So it's a cool song and kind of another one of I write a lot of these kind of Southern noir tales, and it fits into that. Mm-hmm. Milkwood and Thistle's kind of I would say that one's definitely kind of influenced by early Elton John. And it's more of a rocker, but it's about a guy who loses the love of his life and just, is trying to hang on, but he just sees the world. All that's left is Milkweed and Thistle. But it's an up-tempo song, and it's got an absolutely killer guitar solo in it by my cousin, Steve Schubert, who was a Nashville session guy for many years and a great songwriter himself. He's written songs that have been covered by guys like George Jones and Kenny Rogers. So he's the real thing himself, and he's a great guitar player. Very cool.
Yeah, I noticed you have the video for Free Will and China Blue up on YouTube. Did you enjoy making that music video as much as recording the song?
Yeah, we did. We had a great time because it was the pandemic was winding down, so we could all be out together.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the band all together in one spot in this cool little funky studio in Pittsburgh. And then we just spent the day lip syncing. Of course, most of the time we were actually playing also. So we have all this. It's kind of funny if you listen to some of the recordings from it, because we got some of this avant-garde horn stuff going on in Free Will that's not in there that the guys were doing, which is a lot of fun because they're very, very jazzers and whatnot also. But it was great fun to get everybody together and also to work with a total professional as a director. That was Dante Ludovici, who is just a wonderful guy and gave us a great setup and was very efficient to do, and let us tell the story a bit, visually.
Very cool. The name Sun King Rising, where did that originate from?
Yeah, so that's a funny story too. So that actually comes from my science career.
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of a flamboyant speaker. I'm much better known in medical research science than I am as a musician at this point. But I was a flamboyant speaker, and I also, some of my promo shots wearing kind of 19th century style long coats and things like that. Well, I've always done that, and that's how I used to go to conferences, and when I gave invited talks, I would dress like that. And somebody compared me to the French king, the Sun King, Louis. And so they started calling me the Sun King, and so it stuck with me. And originally I was going to call the act the Sun King Reborn. And Nick Katona, who I mentioned, the president of Peacock Sunrise, said, I want to make it something more positive. And he's the one who made it Sun King Rising. And I really like it, and it's given us a lot of potential visuals to play off of, but so it's kind of grounded in my life, and yet also not. So it's a good moniker.
Yes, it's very cool. I love the name. Besides playing music, you do have a PhD in genetics. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, that's so I am a geneticist, and I primarily work in the areas of the genetics of complex diseases like diabetes and heart disease. I do quite a lot of psychiatric disease. I do a lot of work on brain structure and function, the genetic basis of how humans vary in that. And since COVID, I'm doing a lot of work on trying to identify genetic factors as to why humans are so different in how they respond to infection. So that's what I've been working the last couple of years, has been a lot in that area. So it's fun. It was a fabulous time to be a geneticist since we completely cracked the human genome. And so my playground is basically the human genome these days in terms of science. So.
Very cool. Now, you mentioned before something about a new album. Is there one going to be coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, so we just finished it. It's just literally been mastered in Nashville. It's called Signs and Wonders, and it will be out. I think it'll be out in early September. We will start a heavy promo campaign for June, July, and August, and with letting it drop in early September. So we're currently planning our first video that'll be ready for the release, etc. So it's Signs and Wonders, I think, is, of course you're always happiest with the thing you just did, but I'm really proud of this next album. And if you like the horn stuff, it's got a lot of horns in it. So it takes these two flavors, kind of Southern soul and kind of Southern rock, and it's got I think plenty of both for people who like that style of music and my particular style. So it's got 10 songs. I wrote 9 of them, and Ace contributed one again. And actually, Ace contributed one, Ace and I co-wrote one, and then I wrote 8 on my own.
Very cool. Outside of music, what are some of your interests?
I tell you, between music and science, so I do one other thing. I'm also the chairman and president of Rosfest Inc. Rosfest stands for the Rites of Spring Festival, and we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization that puts on this kind of art rock / prog rock festival in Sarasota, Florida.
Wow.
Every spring. So we have one coming up April 15th to 17th in Sarasota at the Sarasota Opera House we're having this year, right over the Easter weekend it is. And we got great bands. I mean, in fact, we have Jerry Harrison and Adrian Ballou who are doing the Remain in Light show. So all the fans of Talking Heads are going to be ecstatic about that. We have John Anderson as a headliner.
Wow.
With Paul Green's Academy of Rock. So he plays with the kids, and they're just fantastic. And we have Dave Kersner, I think, headlining the last night with an all-star cast of well-known proggers like Nick DiVirgilio and Billy Sherwood. And it's just going to be awesome. I think it's 9 bands across 3 days, and it's a lovely little festival with in a fabulous acoustic setting. So that's my other thing. So those are my 3 things that I do.
Very cool. Do you have a website that you'd like to promote?
Sure. For everything Sun King Rising, the audience can go to sunkingrising.com. If they're interested in art rock and prog rock, they can go to rosfest.org and see about Rosfest, which is really a very, very nice festival.
Very cool. Is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
I think we went pretty far and wide there. I think it's I think you got most of my interesting stories, Jimmy.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I try to make like a little timeline and just break everything down, so we can cover everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only thing is that we're hoping with this next record, since the first one was during the pandemic and there was no potential for really touring, so we're hoping that we can, if we get this one out in September, we might be attractive for some of the summer festivals, and we would love to do something like that. And it's a big band, we got minimum 10 people on stage, so
that would be
so
cool.
It's not a bar band, it's difficult for that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Well, John, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really dig this album, and I'm looking forward to hearing the new one when it comes out.
Well, we'll make sure you get a copy.
Well, that would be great, and please come back on when the album comes out. I'll keep an eye out for it, and I'll contact Michael, or I'll send you an email, whatever works. No, we'll make sure you get one. And thanks so much for giving me the exposure. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks for listening also, because it's that's what really it's all about. I want people to have a chance to listen to it, and they like it or they don't like it, but it meant a lot to me making it, and I've been very, very happy with how it's been received. I mean, we've been reviewed in about 40 different places, and all of them have been really strong reviews, so we've really lucked out. Yeah, it's a great album.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome, and like I said, let's keep in touch, because when that album comes out, I'd love to have you back on. All right?
All right. Absolutely. I will write that down, and we will do it.
All right, John. Well, you take care and have a great day, all right?
You too.
All right.
Take it easy, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
like a bed unshed. It's a lonely place where secrets are well kept. On the banks of the river, the ghostly morning flowers slept. Milkweed and thistle drifting through my dreams tonight. Some nights there's shadows dance amongst and bend the sugar cane. I hear your promise whisper to me in the evening road. In this coastal town where roses sway to the sea breeze, on a darkened porch came kisses, deep and wild and sweet. Milkweed and thistle haunting my dreams tonight. Baby, since I've lost you, I just can't let go. Since you crossed that river, pain is all I've ever known. Milkweed and thistle are all that I have left upon the earth. Milkweed and thistle are all that I have left upon the like a bed unshed. It's a lonely place where secrets are well kept. On the banks of the river, the ghostly morning flowers slept. Milkweed and thistle drifting through my dreams tonight. Baby, since I've lost you, I just can't let go. Since you crossed that river, pain is all I've ever known. Milkweed and thistle are all that I have left upon the earth. Milkweed and thistle are all that I have left upon the earth. Milkweed and thistle are all that I have left upon this earth. Milkweed and thistle, milkweed and thistle.